What's up, everyone? Boys on the Rocks here. Money in the Bank done for another year. So let's talk about it. On the potty today, we got Shavi, we got Monkside, and myself, Hunty, here to talk a little bit about some squared circle stuff in terms of Money in the Bank. All right, let's get straight into it. Money in the Bank. Um, Boys, your initial thoughts, just overall in terms of what you reckon you'd rate this pay per view, this or not even pay per view, premium live event, a PLE. What would you guys rate it overall, and then we'll go into each match and what they got up to in each match.
First of all, RIP to Booker T. I could only assume he had a heart attack after watching Stephanie Vaquer hitting the devil's kiss on Rhea Ripley on the ladder. So wherever
Yeah,
he is, and it's been real because that must have sent the man's into like deliria right there
yeah.
because that was a
I think it
whole.
was all of us. A lot of cake happening on the Dragon's Kiss on the ladder there. I'll pay $100 to be that ladder.
But but if I'm given the overall PLE rating, I'd say it was all good. It was
Yeah.
as expected. It's one of those things where you came in with some thoughts about what was going to happen storyline wise, and it delivered with some great ladder matches. These people are putting their lives on the line every time they jump on in a ladder match, and you can't hate on all of that. And then you sort of had a non-title main event with one shocking work, which we'll get
Mm.
to. But otherwise, I thought it was as expected.
Cool. Maxa?
True. Yeah, my rating would be because I missed the woman's Money in the Bank one. I missed it, so yeah, I would have joined Booker T and their RIP. But yeah, I'll give it a. I was missing a world title match. I do miss like a world title match because then that could either bring in the case. The case will come into play, or whether that would have happened,
Yeah.
but it obviously didn't. But yeah, I'll give it a 4 out of 5. 4 out of 5. 'Cause, yeah, missing
Yeah.
It's pretty
world
high.
title
Uh,
match. Yeah,
I
that's
think,
me.
yeah, that's pretty high. But yeah. I think I'm kind of in the same boat. Yeah,
Okay. I've been lagging out.
expected shenanigans, but few things that happened in there, I guess were addressed. But overall, it was a pretty good PLE event. Um, Kind of setting up some things for the future in terms of SummerSlam Evolution, the women's PLE happening next month as well. So yeah, let's get straight to it here with our first match on the card. It was the women's Money in the Bank. We had Rhea Ripley, Alexa Bliss, Stephanie Valkyrie, Roxanne Perez, Julia, and Naomi. With Naomi taking out the dub on that one. Um, Overall, in terms of this match here, um, I definitely thought it was the right person to win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Naomi's just been on a streak lately for me, and man, with her new heel persona, it's elevated her into another level, different character, and I love it. And so she finally getting her flowers. I saw Big E, he did like the post match interviews, with her, and like been grinding for 16 years now. I didn't even notice like she's been in there for 16 years, and now she's finally getting her flowers, in terms of being in the spotlight. So I think it's going to be real interesting heading into Evolution for Naomi. I think they're gonna like set up something there with Jay Cargill on the cards for that. But what do you guys reckon with that first match, boys?
Oh,
Like
I
like you
missed it.
said, the right winner, Naomi. She she's been the best heel over the last few months.
Yeah.
And I think, and this applies to both men's and women's Money in the Bank winners, but I like to see the briefcase holder hold it for a period of time to create that kind of animosity with the winner being able to cash in at any given moment. I think last year with the men, Drew McIntyre cashing it on the night, failed cash in, leaving the briefcase out of play for the rest of the year. And then the women, I know last year wasn't the case, but historically there have been many same night cash-ins or Raw after Money in the Bank PLE cash-ins. So I'd like to see it stay in play for a while. Naomi's got that kind of stalker personality where she's been hanging around like in the background, in the corners, and with her holding the briefcase simultaneously, that'll just create this creepy stalker character with this additional edge for the next few months. So I'm really liking having Naomi as Miss Money in the Bank.
I agree.
Monkey, anything for me?
I missed it.
Oh, true, yeah.
I missed
Let's
that.
talk about a couple of
Damn it.
spots. I think we already addressed one of them. Probably the favorite spot of the whole entire PLE was the Dragon's Kiss. Was there a double Dragon's Kiss that was happening?
No, that one was just the singular Devil's Kiss. But
Oh yeah, the Dragon's Kiss,
there were a
Devil's
couple
Kiss,
of
yes.
double spots, um, like there's a Mexican tornado one, and then a couple of simultaneous finishes, Riptide and Sister Abigail. So a couple of really cool spots, couple of semi botches, but that's part of the fun. Like it doesn't have to be this like fully polished event, especially for a
Yeah.
6-person ladder match with all kinds of shenanigans happening which way and the other. So I'm a little less critical about all of that. But otherwise, it's just fun. Like, it's just a fun event. Like, so much going on. And shout out to the new ladies on the block: Julia, Roxanne Perez, Stephanie Baquer. Like,
They're
the
bad.
women's division is in a great spot with these new ladies just coming straight onto the scene and putting on a show. Like the mid card that they're going to slot into, which I think is appropriate. Like it would have been crazy for one of them to just win Money in the Bank straight away, is going to set up the women's division across the board and heading into the Evolution PLE really, really well. So loved it.
Yeah, man. HB Cake doing his thing. HB Cake sitting back there like a proud daddy,
Yeah.
watching his crew, like, fill in this Money in the Bank here. And yeah, like you said, the mid card table is going to be stacked. It'll be good for them to, obviously with Becky Lynch, we'll go to Leda, who's now holding the IC title. And then we got the Women's United States title as well, that they can finally, because in the last few months they haven't been really that stacked, So having them in there is definitely gonna uplift those titles, and them going for those titles on a weekly basis is gonna be pretty mean. Where does this put Rhea Ripley and Alexa Bliss, the higher tier of the women's Money in the Bank comp? Where do you reckon they go to from here?
It's a good question because they'll be out of the title picture theoretically. But the winner of the Miss Money in the Bank being on SmackDown means that I guess that Rhea Ripley's someone who's always going to be in the title picture if she just wants it. But maybe there's a scenario now where she's running a storyline that's not exactly tied to the title, leaving Io Sky to feud with. At the moment, she's sort of tied into what's looking like a bit of a tag team again with Kairi Sane and Liv Morgan and Raquel. So yeah, it's hard to know. Marnie, what do you think?
Yeah, I think they'll keep it like that for a bit. Like it'll be similar to what, I don't know if they're trying to keep them in a tag match to safeguard Kairi Sane to keep the title a little bit longer. Similar to what they're doing to Jey Uso now. Like they're doing just tag matches. He's trying to, I don't know, but he does. But obviously Jey Uso has a world title match on Monday against Gunther. But yeah, I don't know if they're trying to prolong it and keep them out of the title scene for a bit.
Yeah, do you think? I don't know how they fit Alexa Bliss in there, but I think they need to put her back into the main event scene, and bring Rhea Ripley and give her a storyline that doesn't involve a title, and it's more so like a blood feud or something that she can work on. But I don't know who will fit in that role, but just give Alexa Bliss some time to really jump on the momentum she's had since she's returned. She gets quite a few, like quite a big pop every time she comes out. So
Yeah.
I don't know, just putting it out there, asking what do you guys reckon will happen to those two, moving forward, especially with Evolution next month. I think they're gonna try and who knows, but
Did
I
Rhea
hope they
Ripley have a bit of a stare down with Stephanie Baker backstage? I think that's right.
yeah
I think
Yeah,
on
maybe
the
that's setting something up. And then Alexa Bliss will always have the Wyatt Six to sort of fall back on
yeah
as a
yeah
storyline. So maybe they're
100%.
okay. But yeah,
Yeah. Anything to add?
nothing.
No, moving on. All right. Let's move on to the probably the most last minute match. I don't know if you guys are watching a bit of the AAA Worlds Collide, and they're paying homage to Rey Mysterio over there, and then in comes Dirty Dom into the picture. Got into a little bit of kerfuffle on there, and then got into it with Octagon Junior, and then told him he'll see him at Money in the Bank, and then it ended up being the second match on the card for the IC title. Dirty Dom, Octagon Junior. Did you guys watch that match?
I did not. I
missed
was
it.
walking the
I actually
dog.
missed that, man.
Well,
Golly.
I'll give you guys a brief. It was a really good match, really quick. It was probably the shortest match on the cards, but there was another guy in the World Collide. Um, that you guys need to check out, and his name is Mr. Iguana, and they showed a little bit of him. I'm watching on the watching in the sites. He was the he his gimmick is he's dressed up as an iguana, and he uses a stuffed iguana as part of his matches, like
Yeah.
Mankind with the
Oh
sock.
my
And
god.
he was absolutely, bro. You watch his highlights on Worlds Collide, and he should have been the guy that was in this match. And we watched some of his shenanigans in Worlds Collide. He was absolutely cracker, bro. Like,
All right.
um, yeah. So run it back, check the tape, bro. Check it out, and let me know what you guys think. But pretty much, Dirty Dom won the match. It was a really quick match. But one thing I do have to say is, I think he needs to change the 619. He doesn't suit the 619, man. Like he's real lanky,
Yeah.
and the
He's
way he
too
runs,
tall. Yeah.
yeah, too tall.
He's too lanky.
But he has to because it's in his
I
family.
think,
But
man.
he needs to find another move, man. Like he's just too tall to run the ropes like that, and then do a lame ass six one
What
nine.
what were a couple of Eddie's other moves? I mean, he's also frog
He
splash,
does
and
the Three
Splash.
Amigos,
and he does the
the
three
Frog Splash
amigos.
as well.
Yeah,
So he does that, but I don't know. Maybe it just doesn't suit
something.
the 619.
Yeah, yeah, I
He
hear
needs to
that.
find something else. Yeah, um,
I
but
hear that still.
yeah, he still needs a proper feud. This was you know you need to put him in a proper feud moving forward. He just felt like just last minute just to fill in the card,
Yeah.
and he's just in between a lot of the time and doesn't really have a general direction. Especially as a champ, he needs to get into a proper feud. Whether they pull the trigger with him and Finn Balor, or
God.
I don't know. Like there's so many things that you could do with Dirty Dom and like really jump on him turning into that kind of face now,
Yeah,
like
you
just
think
natural face.
a proper face turn is on the cards for him, and he can turn into the kind of lie, cheat, and steal Eddie Guerrero
Yeah.
ace
Um,
that
it's
Soon, man.
eventually gonna go like that, but
Yeah.
I don't know. He needs to if he wants to. We still need some more heels in here, and he's a heel magnet, bro. He's a heat magnet, so he needs to stay. He needs to verse like a really top baby face for him to be booed. But I don't know who that would be.
That'll be like Braun Breakers. Oh.
No, it can't
well,
be
they
him.
had that and they cheered him after he won.
Yeah,
That's why the
yeah,
face turn is somewhat inevitable because it's like his feud upcoming with Finn Balor. Finn Balor's just coming across as a sort of like whiny, dude, and
Mm.
Drew
and
McIntyre Jr.
yeah, Dom is going to be cheered over him.
I think
It's just the
maybe
case, man. It's just he needs to like
because
he needs to like betray like Liv Morgan and do
yeah,
that again for people to boo him
yeah,
and like run off with Roxanne Perez or something.
Roxanne, yeah.
That's
yeah.
probably
That's it.
what
Yeah.
will do it.
Or if they're smart, because they still need to add this guy somehow and somewhere, is add in Karrion Cross.
Mm.
Damn, they
It's
need
the
to, man.
lingering issue, man. Like, where is Karrion Cross going to be
That's
inserted
it.
into anywhere that's not 30 seconds backstage every other episode of Raw?
Yeah.
He's
And
got
I
him
feel
alive,
it's like
man.
maybe someone like him or Austin Theory that like kind of goes up against Dirty Dom, and there's a chance that the crowd will go, will side with
Hmm.
Karrion Cross or with Austin Theory, because they're also turning as well. So I don't know,
Yeah,
man, but we just need to do something with Dirty Dom and at the same time add Karrion Cross into the picture, and because everyone's asking for him, man. I don't
yeah, they
know what
are.
Papa H is doing there.
I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know
yeah, so true.
what's going on at the moment back backstage there. All right, moving on to the next match on the cards, the Women's IC Championship, with Becky Lynch getting the dub over Lyra Valkyria.
Over to
You guys
you.
watch? Did you guys watch this
I
one
was still
as
walking the
well,
dog.
bro? Man, okay.
I was
I'll
still
give you
doing the
guess.
devil's kiss.
Out of sorry, you're doing the Devil's Kiss by
Oh, me.
yourself.
Oh, shit. Oh, sorry.
With this match here, out of all the different feuds and stuff that's going on,
Mm,
they have the best chemistry at the moment in terms of the feud they've
The
been
feud,
having.
yeah.
Every week they've been hitting their promos, going back and forth with each other, and then this match, their first match that they had, it was a really it was a proper
yeah,
it was a
quality.
really really good match. It was a
Yeah,
quality match, and this one it didn't live up to that expectation, but it was still a really good match. I felt like it was a really good second match for them.
Yeah.
And going back and forth with that, I think they're gonna set up the third fight to be at Evolution,
right.
and I think that's where their feud probably gonna finish.
How did Becky
Um,
win this one?
she won with a roll up.
Oh, okay.
A roll
She
up
she
pin.
got the roll up. Yeah, she
Yeah.
got the roll up on her. But what the stipulation was, if Becky Lynch loses, she's not allowed to go for the title. While Lyra wins it, and then if Becky wins it, then Lyra has to place the title around her waist, which she did,
Yeah.
and then and then with that she beat her up straight up that she put it on her, and then left, which obviously means their feud ain't finished.
Yeah.
They're gonna carry it on and probably gonna carry it on till Evolution. So
Yeah.
yeah, I love their chemistry that they have with each other, and yeah, it was a really good match, good solid match. Becky Lynch, she's done a lot for to elevate
Yeah.
Lyra in this feud.
Mm.
Yeah.
Before she came in, the IC champ wasn't really going anywhere. Um, but when she came back, and she lost their first matchup. But people are hating on Becky already, calling her Becky Hogan, because she's winning
I
and stuff.
mean,
But it's just part. I
I
think
mean, it's
Lyra's
part
just
of it.
probably
part of
gonna
it.
win it back.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe.
No,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think this feud has done what it's supposed to do for all involved. You've
Yep.
got Becky coming back and not sort of taking the main event scene because you're not going to
Mhm.
please everyone. If she goes straight back into the main event scene, then you're going to sort of say like it's like a Charlotte situation when she came back at the Royal Rumble, and
Yep.
then people are now saying that you could picture Lyra Valkyria in the main event scene after this because, as you
Mm.
say, it elevated her. So it's doing exactly what it's meant to do for all involved. It's a great feud, and like you
Yep.
say, probably one more at Evolution or SummerSlam, and yeah, they might go their separate ways after that, having the
Yep.
benefit of being elevated in this way.
Sweet. Moving on to the next match on the cards, which was the men's Money in the Bank. So you had Seth Rollins, LA Knight, Solo Sikoa, um, Andrade, Penta, and El Grande Protein Ice Cream Americano, with Seth Rollins getting the dub in that one. Lads, this was probably, in terms of madness, had the most madness in it. But I loved it. This was probably my favorite match of the night. But it was like yeah, what you'd expect from a Money in the Bank, right? But then all these guys played their part, and they played it so well. Thoughts?
Where to even begin? There was so much going on.
Yeah, we'll probably get to the shenanigans later, but we'll talk about like maybe some of the bigger spots and stuff first.
Yeah, I mean the spot that comes to mind is El Grande Americano after being
Mm,
propped up by LA Knight, running up one ladder,
yeah,
jumping off from
to
I
get to
guess
the ring
that one
post.
onto the
Yeah.
yeah to the ring post onto another ladder onto the
Yeah,
top. Just unreal stuff. Because I think after that, he headbutts Penta off,
Yeah.
yeah,
and then LA Knight gives him a whatever move
yeah.
off that
It was
ladder. It
like
was
a
just unreal. Just so much fun.
And El Grande Americano, if if you want to believe talks, it would have been his second match of the night. With allegedly, in
allegedly.
another universe, people think that El Grande Americano and Chad Gable are 1-1. So if we're living in that universe, obviously to have two matches back to back, had to carry that match, and to get into a spot like that. If we're living in that universe, but we're not. But if we were living in that universe, I would say good on Chad Gable for getting through two different matches in one night. But now, anyway, we're
I
back
saw nothing of
into
the case. I only saw a
yeah.
fresh man
This
out there. I saw a fresh man who was having his first match of the night, and
and it was
Wade
weird. He
Barrett
he
and
had a
Pat
taped
McAfee agreed.
elbow, the same taped elbow that Chad Gable had taped.
That's just like
The
saying
match
someone
prior.
was wearing speedos or someone was wearing wrestling tights. Like everybody has taped everything, so I don't
Mm.
see the connection.
And no pop on Jade. They're getting
Oh,
the
Jade.
Oh.
Poor Jade.
he got the Mexican Destroyer.
Yeah.
That's what he was there for. We were talking about it in the chat. Everyone came out to like a pop or some kind of reaction, and then it was
Some kind
completely
of
quiet.
reaction, one way or the
Some
other.
It was completely quiet for Andrade when he came out. Man, I felt so sorry for him. He, he puts on his mask and he comes out in his mask for him to take it off before he even gets out to the ring, bro.
I mean, in the prelims, the qualifiers for this match,
Mm,
Andrade and El Grande Americano, like my jaw hit the floor watching SmackDown and Raw whenever
mm,
these two qualified. I was like, what is going on? Because
yeah,
I understand it. They're there for the great spots, and they did like some crazy, crazy things. But man, there was no way either of them were a threat to win the
nah,
briefcase.
Nah.
nah.
Uh,
Yeah, they're the workers there. I would have put Mello in there instead of
uh,
Andrade. He would have got a reaction from the crowd, and he would have been the worker in that match as well.
hmm.
So
But I think they're
yeah,
trying to set up
Andrade did his thing. The
Andrade.
Penta. Penta was, if you were listening to the commentators, they're really hyping him up as if he was going to win the match, and um,
They love him.
there was a little bit of like doubt for me. I was like, oh, maybe he could, but again, he did his role really well. I really enjoy Penta in terms of a luchador. One of probably getting up there as one of my favorite luchadors because he's got like a lot of charisma. He's got his taunts that he does that's getting over with the fans. What do you reckon, Maxa? I know you like Pinto. I know you doing this.
Man, when Solo did his trying to be on the side, man, that was crack up. But I don't know if they're trying to set up Penta and Andrade to be the face to spark up Worlds Collide when because you know how they signed that
Mm.
promotion with the Mexican luchador.
The AAA.
Yeah, so I don't know if they're trying to, I guess, throw Andrade and Penta into the main event mix to kind of push them
Yeah.
that way.
That's a good point.
Yeah, trying to promote it.
Trying to market to that
Market it,
audience, I
yeah.
guess.
Yeah, they were in
Yeah.
LA, so
Yeah.
that's a good point.
So that's my guess why they put Andrade and Penta into the mix, but also to sell their spots. Because I don't think anyone else could sell it better than them. But yeah, Solo was my favorite in that match.
Oh, me
It
too.
was-
Man,
I thought we were going to be riding Solo like Jason Derulo. Like he was so like he would have been the perfect choice to win going into the match because it would have been
Yeah,
unexpected.
100%.
And when he was in, oh, he was so funny, just
He
unbelievably
was.
hilarious
yeah.
throughout. But
He's starting to get over, like over as that comedic heel, and so kind of like that manager. Like he's the mouthpiece for the bloodline, but he was getting over. People were starting to like him because of his comedy, that his reactions, his facial expressions, and then him mocking other wrestlers and just
that
like
was
his
the
little quips
that
that he
was
says.
crack up.
Like even when he got the 3-on-1 and he was like looking at LA Knight and he's like,
He did
and
yeah, so good.
he went to Andrade and gave him a fist pound, and then he went to bed. That freak, like like
Oh my
and you
gosh.
see him. I think it was another couple of Smackdowns ago, and Jacob Fatu was like, "I love you, Solo," and then he walked off, and then Solo was like to JC Mateo, he's like, "Man, he ain't said that in 6 months, man." Like just those like little quips, like it's making people like really like it. I see the
Yeah.
comments like online, everyone's like saying, "Oh, Solo's growing on me," like that, and that's just his natural persona coming through.
Yeah.
Rather, like
Yeah.
he can in the ring, he can still be the kind of monster with his moveset and stuff. But
Oh,
I think it's the comedic things that are starting to like elevate him more. So yeah, I think it would have been a really good choice for him
window.
to win the match, and then it would have probably brought some aura back to the bloodline because I expect the Tongans to come back into the mold soon.
Mm.
And then obviously with the what had happened towards the end of that, but we'll get to that soon. But we'll quickly talk about LA Knight and Seth Rollins. LA Knight, what do you reckon?
Tough, man, tough. Like I spent some time afterwards trying to think about where does LA Knight go from here. That's three Money in the Bank matches in a row where he's been sort of expected to take that win, take that leap,
Mm-hmm.
and he hasn't. And so I just don't. I don't know. I don't see the way into the main event scene. Maybe last year was the year because this year
Yeah.
somewhat makes sense that it's Seth Rollins, and
Yeah,
last year the briefcase got burned anyway with Drew
yeah,
trying
yeah.
to cash in. So I really don't see it. I don't know. Maybe you guys have a different view.
Money?
Uh, I think I actually his feud that's starting up with Alistair Black seems like his his saving grace at the moment. But yeah, him in the main title scene, I think I don't know. I think it's kind of gone a little bit his aura.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
But his gimmick is still catchy, so I think that's why they still kind of threw him in there. So I don't know if they're gonna. Yeah, kind of reminds me when Jay was thrown into the main title scene before WrestleMania, and then it kind of died out, and then with him and Gunter, and then I don't know.
Yeah, I think because they also announced that they're gonna have the King and Queen of the Ring soon,
Mm.
so maybe
Oh yeah,
they can put him in there and become King of the Ring, and then that can help elevate him again because King of the Ring also gets a title shot
yeah,
as well. So there's that, and there might be a saving grace for him. But even if he does go into the picture with Aleister Black, like I think that's still a mid
It's
card
mid card.
type of feud, and he should be pushed, especially because Drew's out now for a little while. I think he's taking a little bit of a break.
Oh, is he?
oh,
Alan, yeah, I think after the last match with Damian Priest,
Mm.
that he's gonna have a little break, but probably not for too long. But enough time for at least LA Knight to get a little sniff in the main event picture, bro. Or
I
you
think
know,
that's probably it. The King of the Ring,
yeah,
because it makes sense for Seth Rollins, and we'll get to that of the Money in the Bank because there's just that added, like the whole storyline of them trying to have control, and you have control over whoever because the Money in the Bank is a threat at any point, whereas King of the Ring, you have that chance there. And I don't know, maybe that's the one.
yeah. So moving forward, but they need to pull the trigger and pull the trigger soon with that guy, man.
Yeah,
Otherwise, they would completely miss it, and he'll just be
Mid card.
background,
Yeah.
background upper mid card at best.
Yeah.
But yeah. Moving on to the winner. So obviously Seth Rollins won it, and I guess we can talk about the shenanigans that had happened as well. So some of the shenanigans that happened was obviously Solo Sikoa. So the I don't know what we call Seth Rollins guys, man. What
Just
do we call them?
The Seth Rollins
Just
faction at the
Seth
moment.
Rollins faction at the moment. You know,
Couple
he
of
was getting
bronze.
fed up, and he told all of them to come out. So he was telling, Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed to come out. He's had enough. They came out. Paul Heyman was there too. Wreaked havoc in the ring, doing what they were doing, and then Paul Heyman, he's over here pointing at his Solo, and then they all brought Solo into the ring, and then was about to, give him a hiding, and then Bloodline came out. Look bloodline-ish, with Jacob Fatu and JC Mateo coming out as well. So they came out, and I think that stare down between Braun Breaker and Jacob Fatu was like a little teaser, man. But like you could see it. That's like a future WrestleMania main event right there, man.
100%.
Both of them, their aura is like unmatched, man. And then yeah, cleared the ring. Jacob did his thing, cleared everyone out, and then cleared the way for Solo to climb up. And as he was climbing, reached out, did the whole Scar Mufasa thing, grabbed his claw, bro, and was like, I hate you, Solo. And so, Jacob's finally turned to a full face now. He's a face now, and which I think that's probably gonna move Solo and Jacob to feud it out for the US title
Yeah.
probably, which takes out Solo, and then there's Seth Rollins. Capitalizes on that,
Yeah.
wins the Money in the Bank. Yeah, Bob's your uncle.
I think that's exactly how I expected it to go in terms of the result. Obviously, with all of the shenanigans in between, it was fascinating cinematic stuff. I didn't expect to see the Jacob Fatu full face turn right then and there, but it's welcome. It'll be interesting because just in that US title picture scene, I believe Damian Priest also put himself in the mix, and he's
Right.
somewhat supposed face that people are sort of lukewarm about, but still it would just be interesting to see sort of what that dynamic will be going forward. And then obviously Solo and Jacob and JC, there's quite a lot of unfinished business between all of them, so plenty of storylines coming out of this match going forward, which is what we like. But then coming to the main part of it, Seth Rollins, I love it, and I want to see Seth Rollins hold on to the briefcase for a while, causing disruption through it. And I think the next one, so the main event of Raw for this week is Jey Uso defending against Gunther, and that's there's a little bit of converging of storylines from all which way or the other, and we'll get to this in the main event. But Jey Uso, if kayfabe is real, needs to come into the match a little bit tired or a little bit hurt, as in the match with Gunther. And I see a world where Seth Rollins uses the briefcase to intimidate, but not cash in. I know you want to sort of see Seth Rollins cash in immediately, but I would like to see Seth Rollins come out to somewhat distract or intimidate Jey Uso, causing him to lose the match to Gunther, but Seth Rollins not cashing it in then and there. And so sort of giving that illusion of power and control by holding the briefcase, but by still holding it, they can continue to assert that control over Raw. So yeah, great outcome, for the sake of the storyline, and we'll see where this goes, because I think it was the right call.
Bumps.
Yeah, no, I think I just want to touch on Jacob's run. I wonder if he'll feud with Solo moving forward, and then if he loses the title, because he'll lose that US, I wonder if they'll push him to the main event scene, but then yeah, I'm not too sure if who we
Yeah,
will go
well,
for.
interesting in terms of that feud, you also got to factor in Jimmy Uso as well.
Yeah,
Because Jimmy, in the last SmackDown, he, like, when Seth Rollins and the Bloodline had their stare off, he was the one that super kicked JC Mateo in the back.
Mateo.
So it might, for the next pay per view, whatever it is, or PLE, it might
Jimmy
be
and
a tag
Jacob.
team.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, Jacob and Jimmy versus Solo and JC Mateo.
yeah.
And then
Yeah,
leading into the Jacob solo feud. I don't know.
No,
It's
I like
just
that. I like that.
it
That
might
makes
be
sense.
what they and to drag out that storyline a bit
Yeah.
more, I guess.
yeah.
Yep.
Uh,
Makes complete sense to me.
yeah. So that might be one way that they're gonna lean towards that one. But
Mm.
yeah, man. I hope Solo leads into that um comedy heel persona
Me
even
too.
more.
Me too. He's so
Yeah,
funny.
man.
He's so funny.
But what do you reckon about Seth Rollins, Mungie?
Yeah. Well, I think that Seth needs to generate. I think him winning this Money in the Bank was good because he needs a lot of hate because I feel like the crowd still
Mm.
like him in a sense, but I think they're trying to generate the hate where Roman first started the bloodline. Like they're trying to put that hate on where they just win by disqualification. They're trying to run that back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah,
Yeah, I
I
think
feel like they're just trying to push it on us, make us hate Seth for a bit.
Mm.
But that's what the WWE needs right now. They need a bad heel group
yeah,
to stay on top.
they need
So
a top heel faction.
yeah,
And
so,
I agree with what you were saying, Shav, in terms of the aura of, is he not gonna cash in? The only thing that I reckon he's he's gonna cash it in against Jay and Gun whoever wins that match is because that faction probably needs the title to like hold everyone to be like, you know,
yeah,
I'm the top dog of this company. I
yep,
got my title. You guys, we run the show because I got this title here now. That's the only reason why I reckon he would win it. But
yeah,
if he doesn't, it's gonna go the way that you're saying, Shelby. So I'm not mad if it happens either way. Like I understand both ways of the if the storyline goes. It
Yeah.
would look badass if Seth Rollins got the title and he's holding it hostage and he goes on a long run and they're just like how Evolution did that.
yeah,
And they probably get like a time where Jay Bronson and Braun win some titles themselves and all at once they all hold different titles,
yeah,
so they can really get that faction going
yeah.
and
Yeah.
really
That's what it needs.
just like how Evolution did it. So that's my way of thinking of why I think because it's so random having that title match straight after a Money in the Bank on a random episode of
Yeah.
Raw,
Yeah,
and I think that might be the way they're leaning.
Yeah.
But who knows, man? But moving forward, yeah, Seth. If it wasn't Solo, it was gonna be Seth.
yeah,
To win the Money in the Bank. So yeah, happy with the result. Man, who knows? I love, but in the lead up, how they came out in every match and just beat up everyone who was part of the
that
Money in the
was
Bank.
good. That was that
Like
was that
that's
was
top
excellent.
heel stuff like that they
Yeah,
do. You know, uh, I just like thinking about Bronson Reed's tsunami and why he goes like this all the time when
Oh,
he's like on his way down there. I
it's
don't know why he does
it's
that, bro.
I don't know what. Yeah, it makes it less terrifying than it should be. It
Yeah.
should be the most terrifying thing, right? But the flailing in
You're
the
on the
wind
ground and you're
and
looking up, bro, and someone's going like this.
do that one more time.
oh no.
With that.
Gee, like you know what I mean? Like that's the last thing you
I don't
want to
know,
see
man.
when
I don't
you're
know.
up there, bro. You're like, what the hell?
Yeah.
But man, and then Braun Breaker with the spears, he's like
Oh
flipping
yeah.
like he's
Oh, the
like
spear when
these
he came
spears, and then
through
he
off the
flips
ramp.
like
Yeah, he does a
Yeah.
flip spear. He
Oh,
doesn't really
yeah,
like cut them, eh?
mm.
It's like he
but it makes
jumps
it look
into them.
like like even worse. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. No, that
yeah,
spear. I forgot who he hit. Maybe LA Knight when he came down off the
Yeah,
rope.
on the side
Yeah.
or the first
Oh,
one.
the first one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Ooh. But
He did the other one around the corner, and there was so many people in the way, like ladders. He had to like
yeah,
juke
yeah,
and then jump over one guy to spear the other guy. All right,
Oh my
but
days.
yeah, man, that faction moving forward. Um, do you reckon they add one more member, or is that it?
I was hoping they would add in one more, but I think at the moment it seems like I think they're just gonna keep it like that. But in my opinion, I reckon one more should have been a good one.
yeah. I don't mind one more. I don't mind one more.
Yeah,
A female?
I,
Oh, that'd be
if it
cool.
is, it'll be Becky. Like,
Too.
it,
It's like hanging out with your wife and at work all the
Yeah,
time.
it's lame.
I think they don't. I think they got on record saying they don't want to do storylines together because it's too close.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Seth and Becky. But
True.
yeah, hard to know who it could be. Maybe one of the new, because it's meant to sort of elevate new ones,
Mm,
right? So, but
Stephanie
yeah, could be.
might
It
be.
won't be Roxanne Perez because she's already
Yeah.
Nah,
tied up with the Judgment Day. But
with Judgment Day. Yeah. Um, no. Anything else to add in that match?
no, just to the main event because it's somewhat
Yep.
tied in, right?
Yeah, yeah. Main event. Main event, Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes up against Logan Paul, and
John
his
Cena.
last time is now John Cena.
Jana.
Damn.
So with this match here, um, talk about some of the spots first. Do you guys see Logan Paul trying to do his flip and he slipped? He was
Yeah,
trying to,
yeah.
But lucky,
yeah,
yeah,
He did
Jay,
redeem himself.
yeah.
yeah. He absolutely did with that. You guys want to talk it through
Was it when he did the flip and then
the
was it
moonsault?
yeah, not the
Yeah,
moonsault,
Oh,
but
yeah, two of them. Yeah,
his
that's right.
his stuff up. He tried
Yeah,
to do the flip forward, but then lucky Jay got him with this super kick straight away,
yeah.
which kind of saved his stuff up. But then obviously the moonsault was what the hell?
Yeah, just picturesque, you know? If there are stills from like straight when he's like
Like in the air, mid
in the
air.
air, it's just incredible. And
Yeah, man.
you got to put some respect on the name. Like he just can't
Some respect.
can't hate on it. Like these are the sorts of spots that people talk about in the WWE for many many years to come. And yeah, that was one of them. Just incredible.
Bro, he does that. He does that in normal matches, like when they're in the ring.
Mm.
They're on one side of the ring, and he does his like moonsault from the other, and he gets so much like,
Airtime.
Hang time, yeah.
yeah, hang time,
Distance.
but he goes far. Like
Mm.
that's, yeah, man.
This one
He's
with the
Uh,
spot to the
crazy.
outside.
yeah,
Yeah, good
and
stuff.
then also the one with the drone.
Oh
Yeah,
When
yeah,
he's
that
yeah,
was
onto
me.
the drone,
yeah.
and
Seeing
then
the
he
footage
gets,
from the drone and just feeling
yeah,
like you
Like with
were
him, eh?
him,
Yeah.
and you
yeah,
got frog splashed, Uso splashed by Jay when he came down because you didn't see,
Yeah.
yeah.
he just came out of nowhere. Really
That was
cool
a
stuff.
crazy thing. Tsunami!
Let's see those hand gestures one more time.
Okay, Muggy, you do it this time.
Oh
But
man.
yeah, so his in ring work is like
Improved?
been so like, yeah, man, he's major improver in terms of his in ring work. And then yeah, all the shenanigans happened. They're all on the outside, spear through the table. Jey Uso speared him through the table, and all of that jazz.
Yeah.
And then at the end, John Cena was in the same position with the title belt, hit him across the head, was about to go, and then we see a hooded figure jump into the ring, back, pulled it off by Mr. Ron Cena.
Ron Cena.
Ron
That-
Cena himself. So, question I ask you guys: Was that a work? Was that a work the whole time,
It's one of the
or
best
is it
works
Triple
ever.
H listening to the backlash that he was getting from the crowd?
It's one of the best works that they've done in a while. It's one of the best works. Otherwise,
That was a good work.
they would have either capitalized on it all released in the normal course of the releases. Like they released big names,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but within those segments, like they released Braun Strowman, like former champion,
Yeah.
recently in sort of the picture. They released him with the suite of releases that they do every other 6 months or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And this just randomly like that? Nah,
No,
like
but the thing is, they also released Carlito at the same time.
Carlito,
Like there was the
Valhalla.
same day, but
mm,
one's not coming back. So that's why I think that's what poses the question for me is, was it a work or was it not? Because if it's just Ron by himself, Truth by himself, then yeah, it was a work. But they released both of them on the same day, and it's like, was it a work or was he
That's
listening to all the backlash that he was getting? You know what I mean?
it's a good point. I mean, it depends on when they would have made the decision as well to bring him back because was it the most recent episode of SmackDown where John Cena acknowledged truth? Like normally if somebody's like left, they don't
yeah.
Yeah,
acknowledge
yeah, yeah.
them, but he did make reference to it then. So maybe at that point, if it wasn't a work and they did bring it back, then they made that decision before this
Yeah, yeah.
SmackDown. But I like to think that it's a work. I like to think that Triple H likes to use some like he doesn't get everything right, but he uses some
Yeah.
of these sort of obscure outside of the canon of the episode, like the 3 hour whatever, to keep you hooked on following people on social media or because the Kevin
Yeah.
Owens thing with the post
Yeah.
with the heel turn after the main event or after the PLE or whatever it was meant that okay things can happen outside of the realm of the 9 hours of programming and so you
Yeah.
have to follow them on social media and you have to keep up with all these other things as well so yeah I like to think it's a work
Yeah, I think
and I was worked that's a good thing
Oh, I mean, if it was a work, bro, like it was the greatest work of all time because
indeed
it got us, man. But if it wasn't, I only say this because this is what I hear online as well. Like, nah, it wasn't a work. Like, it was Triple H just listening to like all the backlash.
yeah.
But if
KBN.
it was work, bro, like it did its job as a work. You know what I mean?
Mm.
But
That was perfect, man.
yeah,
Oh,
it's gonna be interesting um, uh, to see this moving forward. But it was also a good way to really protect John Cena and
Cody Rhodes,
Cody
everyone was
Rhodes.
protected. Like
Yeah,
if John
everyone's
Cena was ever going to
protected with
take a
that
pin,
finish.
yeah.
like if John Cena was ever going to take a pin this year, it was this match because
Yeah,
non-title tag, you're leading up to
Mm.
something else, you sort of reintroducing Cody Rhodes, and I think it all worked out perfectly to, like you say, protect everybody and set it up for what's coming up in the future because the Cody Rhodes John Cena feud is going to carry on throughout the year,
yeah,
and John Cena can't lose on one of those matches, so he has to lose this one. So yeah, it did its job, created a bit of buzz, but the storylines for all of these participants remain because Logan Paul and John Cena had a bit of a falling out there, so teases the
That
kind
was
of
cool.
the face turn of John Cena like reverting back, back to the light.
yeah. Where to from here?
Let's take Jey Uso to start with.
Yep.
He's got to fight Gunther, and I have my prediction of what might happen. He may either lose or sort of no contest as a result of the threat or the intimidation of the Money in the Bank briefcase.
And what about you, Maggie? What do you reckon? Jey Uso?
Yeah, I think similar. It will just be with Gunther, and I was just thinking on there. I was like, where was because I don't know where that plays with Sami Zayn and Punk
Yeah.
and
The
Free. So I was
yeah, like Jey Uso has been involved in so many different
I mean,
yeah, just
angles and different feuds, and it's like hard to try and figure out where he's going. He's helping CM Punk, he's helping Cody Rhodes, all of this kind of jazz, and then he's also focusing on Gunther, and it's like you don't know where's his storyline leading or what's his main thing that moving forward for him, like who's his main nemesis? Because I want him to move away from Gunther if
yeah,
he's still gonna carry it, and then start a completely different feud
Yeah.
I don't know. Um, I'm gonna pose this question: does Roman Reigns, go for Jay, or
Oh,
like I don't know. It's
nah,
not
nah,
like
I don't see that one.
Nah.
but
Nah.
it's more so like in terms of not like a blood feud, but it's like, all right, you're the champ now, and I'm so proud of you. Let's have a match, like, and see what you're made of, and also, I don't know, find a way to protect Roman and still have Jay be the champ, but it puts, he's starting to take some names off in terms of like, big opponents to make his title legitimate.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just things I'm thinking about, like possible feuds, man, that could go ahead, but it's different from when they versed each other in the past, like a blood feuds. This is not a blood. This is like a respect,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Yeah, respect match.
I'm the big dog here. All right, let's see if you can get through me and really earn your keep as champion. Just a thought. Probably won't happen, but hey, if I'm a writer, put me in that
Yeah.
writer's room, bro. I got one storyline for you.
Nice for
What
a
do you?
dog.
And then you also got the other champion, John Cena. What do you reckon? What do you guys reckon?
This one's pretty
Yeah.
more straightforward, and the,
Yeah.
the outline or whatever the storyline with Cody still needs to be resolved. There's a lot to sort of unpack there still. So I don't know. The problem for me is just John Cena as a heel generally sort of
Yeah.
has been lackluster since the
Mm.
initial heel turn. Just none of it sort of logically makes a lot of sense. But we're here now, and so we sort of have to see his feud with Cody and build the inevitable face turn back for the redemption
Yep.
arc towards the end of the year. But I feel like this one it's a lot more straightforward. The World Heavyweight Championship scene between Jay, Seth, Sammy, CM Punk, Gunther, so many different angles that can go is far more interesting for me. This one,
Yeah.
there's going to be the redemption arc, and we're going to enjoy that, but there's not as much intrigue for me.
Mm. Do you think he'll have a feud with CM Punk?
John Cena,
Yeah,
the
I
fans are going to
want.
want it. Like we all want
Yeah.
to see it.
we
It
all
has to
want
be
it.
done.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Summer of Punk, and CM Punk was teasing it too.
exactly.
It's getting into
Yeah.
summertime. You know what that means? Summer of Punk, blah blah blah. And his biggest rival during that time was John Cena. So hopefully they can run it back.
Yeah.
But this time, John Cena is the heel, CM Punk is a baby face. So
Mm.
yeah. And then what about Logan Paul? I know this is just something to elevate him there, but I hope he doesn't become champion anytime soon, bro.
No, man, I rate it. I rate how much heat he can bring because I don't know. Like for me, all the heels, there's some element of likability to all of them.
Mm.
Like Drew and
No.
Seth Rollins and that group, people like it, but people hate this guy. And
Yeah,
so he's the edge of like now where people just hate. Like if you were a certain age, you just hate him so much.
yeah,
And if you just throw the
He did it.
championship on it might make people stop watching. That's how
yeah,
bad the
yeah.
heat is.
That's how bad
But
he
that's a
is.
necessary point because then when the face does come back to take it off him, then it's that much more rewarding. So I don't mind
Yep.
seeing it. Can't be for long, but if it happens from a general like this is wrestling and you got to create emotions out of people, I don't mind seeing it.
True that. And then Cody, obviously he's gonna be
Yeah.
tied in with JC. So yeah, pretty much that. Um, Thoughts moving forward in terms of how does Seth become involved in that picture? Will he be involved in that picture?
I mean, I like to see him use the Money in the Bank briefcase as more of an intimidation factor right now.
Yeah,
But we'll see. We'll see. I think there's a lot to unpack still, and this is going to be a multi-year sort of storyline between his faction,
yeah,
with possibly new members still, and then
Yeah.
possibly the inevitable infighting between them to finally elevate the young guys, the bronze, and yeah, I think we covered whatever this short-term stuff is, but the long-term stuff
mm,
we'll definitely have to talk about that in the future episode.
sweet. All right. I think that's our review done of Money in the Bank.